Thanks for making it Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today's show is jam-packed with information you can use. Interested in a career in the music industry? We'll show you how to get your foot in the door. There's also Jamaica House Weekly and Tech It. So please stay tuned.
The JIS Heritage Competition is back. Enter your essay, poster, or photo and win big prizes. If you're aged 9 to 12 years, enter the essay competition and tell us who is your favorite Jamaican sportsman or sportswoman and why. High school students, enter the poster competition. This year's theme is Jamaica's Rich Sporting Heritage. If you're a tertiary level student, enter the photo competition. This year's theme is I Am a Sports Champion. Competition closes for all 3 categories on November 6. Get started now. For information on submission and competition guidelines, visit our website at jis.gov.jm. Call 926-359-024, extension 2137, or send an email.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, October 6. The Bank of Jamaica has approved licenses for 3 new commercial banks, a move Finance Minister Audley Shaw believes will lead to increased competition and lower lending rates in the market. Insisting that current lending rates are too high for small businesses to grow and be competitive, Minister Shaw says that where possible, government will assist the process by lowering the interest rate on loan schemes it facilitates to commercial banks. That, he says, will begin with a World Bank-funded loan scheme, which the Ministry of Finance off-lends to the Development Bank of Jamaica at 4% interest rate. The DBJ then adds 1.5% to lend the commercial banks, which in turn add a 4.5% markup to loan small businesses.
I have my memorandum about to be signed on my desk now to instruct my financial secretary to sharply reduce the rate to maybe 1.5–2%. I might tell the DBJ to take off 0.5%. I'm going to say to the commercial banks, on this particular initiative, I want the small business to get that money at 7%.
Minister Shaw was addressing Prime Asset Management Limited's recent pension seminar. He used the function to reiterate government's commitment to implementing the proposed contributory public sector pension scheme by April 2017. In the meantime, the Finance Minister says government remains confident about reaching a successor agreement to the island's extended fund facility with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. He says discussions are going well towards establishing what is likely to be a precautionary standby agreement at the end of the current arrangement, which wraps up in April 2017.
That it is our intention to make sure that there's a seamless transfer from the EFF, which is what we're on now, to a successor program. In other words, we stick to our targets of fiscal consolidation, fiscal prudence. We'll have half-yearly reviews instead of quarterly reviews. And we have monies that are in reserve if we need it.
The island's pig farmers are being urged to ramp up their pork production to ensure a consistent supply to the export market. In making the appeal, Agriculture Minister Carl Samuda points out that in 2014, the industry exported nearly 21,000 kilos of pork, valued at over $1.5 million to Trinidad and Tobago. He insists that it's a feat which can be achieved this year. Mr. Samuda's statement was read by the ministry's Chief Technical Director, Stephen Wedderburn, at the annual general meeting of the Pig Farmers Association of Jamaica in Mandeville recently.
A successful expansion of the pork industry is going to require improved and sustained efforts to grow the export of pork and pork products, even while we also improve the linkages and supply to the hotel and tourism sector.
The Ocho Rios Primary School is well on its way to fully ending its shift system after its classroom space was recently expanded. A new fully furnished 8-classroom block was recently built at the St. Anne-based institution, replacing its old grade 4 building that was in a state of disrepair.
Approximately 300 students are now able to sit comfortably in a highly conducive and spacious learning environment. Not only that, but grades 3, 4, 5, and 6 are now off the shift system, and the entire ambience of the school has changed.
The $66 million investment was made by the Caribbean Development Bank through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JIS's Basic Needs Trust Fund program. In addition to erecting the new building, the old grade 4 classroom block was re-roofed and received new windows and doors, corridors, ramps, and an upgraded electrical system. JISIF also provided training to support the leadership of the school.
You've also received violence prevention against children and youth at risk, quality enhancement training in literacy and numeracy, training of special education needs coordinators, water sanitation and hygiene training, and then of course maintenance training.
The PTA and private sector businesses in the area assisted with the erection of a perimeter fence and landscaping. And finally, the approximately 89 special needs students enrolled at the Montego Bay Learning Center are now enjoying upgraded environs, courtesy of recent expansion and rehabilitation works. In partnership with the Early Stimulation Program and the Jamaican Association on Intellectual Disabilities, the Digicel Foundation recently opened a new Special Needs Center of Excellence at the St. James Institution.
This is about Jamaicans coming together to do the best thing for our country, and it is what I consider to be the epitome of where we all should be looking what is best and putting aside self-interest for the greater good and to serve our special needs community in the best way that we possibly can.
It's the 9th of 10 special needs centers being built by Digicel over a 3-year period, and the work included expanding the classroom space and grounds, as well as the installation of perimeter fence and fire safety equipment. The Montego Bay Learning Center caters to children with intellectual disabilities, administering an academic program and vocational training in the areas of sewing, gardening, handicraft, and home economics. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Wait, hold on. Colin, hey, what go on? You know, say, I'm on my way to go look about the farm work program. Aye, I love to do the farm work program there now. But remember, I serve a 5-year prison sentence for a minor crime. Them can't clear it, you know?
Yes, Colin can get his record expunged. Expungement is having a conviction removed from your criminal record after certain specifications have been met. Visit the Criminal and Civil Justice Division in the Ministry of Justice for more information.
Up next, stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister thanks Jamaicans in the wake of Hurricane Matthew. Government commits to free tuition at the early childhood level. And Naomi Francis named new Jamaica House Press Secretary. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is expressing profound gratitude to disaster preparedness officials and all Jamaicans for their preparation and response as the country braced for a possible impact from Hurricane Matthew, which was at one point expected to make direct contact with Jamaica. The country was given the all-clear this Tuesday as the Category 4 hurricane veered north on a path taking it across neighboring Haiti and Cuba. Before that all-clear, Jamaica was placed on high alert as shelters were activated and disaster officials provided constant updates to the nation. As part of that, the Prime Minister held an emergency meeting at Jamaica House last Thursday to update the country on the state's level of readiness and urged personal responsibility.
The government will do what it can, it will do its part. But I have to appeal to the individual responsibility of each and every Jamaican to look out for your own safety and security. And I want to make that appeal very strongly. A part of that is to heed the warnings that are given from the government. particularly warnings to evacuate.
The Prime Minister reiterated that message in a national broadcast Saturday night. Earlier in that day, he visited sites in the corporate area and St. James to get a first-hand view of hurricane preparedness measures and charged the Jamaica Defence Force with ensuring the safety of citizens should the storm make impact.
The hurricane must never provide an opportunity for criminals. Indeed, this is the time when you should intensify your efforts to degrade the capabilities of those who would seek to create havoc in our society.
While giving thanks for Jamaica being spared severe impact from Hurricane Matthew, Prime Minister Holness is urging persons to pray for our Caribbean neighbors in Haiti, Cuba, and the Bahamas. He says government stands ready to offer its assistance to the recovery effort, particularly in Haiti. Prime Minister Andrew Holness was engaged with other matters last week. While distributing school supplies to Fort Campbell's Basic School, he reiterated government's constitutional commitment to providing access to education for all children, particularly those at the early childhood level. Mr. Holness said he would be expanding tuition-free spaces by creating infant departments at primary and infant schools.
This year we will be building out a number of infant schools and a number of primary schools, which were formerly all-age schools, are now converting the all-age spaces into infant department spaces. So the students who are not able to afford it should be able to find space where they can develop their early childhood skills without having to worry about fees.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness was also present at the September 28 funeral for musician and artist Cecil Cooper. Also on Wednesday, Mr. Holness extended best wishes to Jamaica's Consul General Designate, Trudy Deans, who took up appointment earlier this week. And finally, veteran journalist Naomi Francis has been appointed Press Secretary at the Office of the Prime Minister. Ms. Francis' appointment took effect on Monday, October 3. She's expected to strengthen the capacity of Jamaica House's communications unit. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Do join us next time for more of the stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Artists, dancers, songwriters, protect your work from copycats and secure your intellectual property. The Intellectual Property Rights Law guards the rights of owners of creative works in the scientific, industrial, literary, artistic, musical, and dramatic fields. It covers several areas. Protect your net worth, protect your legacy, build Jamaica's creative and industrial industry. For more details on protecting your creative expression, contact the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office.
When you hear music, you think of the artist and maybe the producer. But there is more to this industry than just singing and producing music. It's a business that has many fields. Here are some career options and their requirements.
There's a quote from recording artist Erykah Badu, who once said, "The music business is motivated by money. Music is motivated by energy and feelings." What say you?
The business of music now is to take all of that and turn it into making money, you know, as blatant as that.
This is Career Talk. I'm Kerry. Today we're discussing music management and more. Welcome.
They get the fame, top the charts, collect the awards, are recorded in the annals of history for speaking to the multidimensional spectrum of human emotions and experiences through the power of music. But the difference between them and the far greater number of musical unknowns is very often in the management.
The Eptones, Ken Booth, Delroy Wilson, Alton Ellis. I mean, you name them, they came through my hands at some stage or another. I took Dennis to England in '74, the first time he toured. He was about just about 17.
Junior Lincoln is one of a large and growing group of people who have merged a love for the melodic creation called music with a keen understanding of human behavior and a sharp business mind to make a living.
Some of the best artists in the world, we don't know anything about. You can be the greatest artist in the world, and if people don't hear you, how are they going to know? And how are you going to be heard? It takes management. Music management is kind of complex.
But it comes down to one thing: overseeing the business affairs of musicians.
There's two sorts of management of an artist. I mean, the personal manager will look at how they invest their money, how they do all of that sort of thing. The other side now, which is the professional manager of the artist's career.
If you are looking to join this career field, be prepared to handle just about every aspect of an artist's career.
It is not something that you can go to school and learn. It's something you learn over a period of time with experience.
But school can't hurt. In fact, there are schools here in Jamaica and abroad offering degree programs in music business or a straightforward business field that you can merge with your knowledge of the industry. Whether you begin with formal training or not, getting started in this career is tough. One route is to cultivate a relationship with an up-and-coming artist you admire and begin to manage that person, create an effective street team, and help the artist grow. Then there's another option.
You find a lot of big managers today, especially overseas, started with a company, and they would have maybe 2 or 3 artists under their portfolio. So you learn your craft there, but you have this big company behind you that you can rock back at.
Whatever in you use, remember this is not a job that will keep you confined to a desk or any other static location. You go where the business or the artist goes. And this is not a 9-to-5 gig.
No, it's the opposite of a 9-to-5 job because you're on the job all the time.
And it's a job that is in demand, a growth field as some would call it.
What you have to keep in touch with is the change. The changes that's come about in the business and continually doing so.
There are some other intangibles to consider.
Temperament is important. It's cool when you have to be cool. Most of the time you have to be cool, but you have to be firm when you have to be firm. It takes man management.
It means navigating the many moods of artists, plus all the people around them.
I think we all know that people within the arts are a bit sometimes not so easy to deal with, for obvious reasons. Very moody, can be very strong in their thoughts and vision and whatever else. There's got to be trust. There's got to be confidence, a whole lot of confidence in the management opinion and direction of that artist.
The music manager must also understand how to navigate the transition from an unknown artist to someone with a following and further a national or international career.
Once you get there, a very important part is to stay there. And management is very crucial to that because it's not just music anymore. It's music plus.
It's hard in my behavior, say I'm a sinner.
When will I see you again? When I play the call, you can start your...
Musicians, users of music instruments. If you're a registered member of the Jamaica Federation of Musicians or the Recording Industry of Jamaica, you may apply for a waiver of duty on the importation of music equipment. You'll need to submit the following: a letter of request to the Film Commission or Creative Industries Unit and a pro forma invoice detailing the items being imported with corresponding serial numbers and costs. Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO will submit the documents to the Ministry of Finance for approval. You must get approval before the items arrive. For more information on the Music Tools of Trade incentive, click on the Tourism and Entertainment Ministry's website at mot.gov.jm or call the Ministry's Entertainment Division at 920-4926-30.
Technology has evolved. Remember when lifting your television sets took over 4 persons and your cell phone was the size of a microwave? Okay, I'm being a bit extreme. What about the days when persons had only the post office, pen and papers tools to talk with when information had to be shared over long distances? There has been a great change. Learn more in the upcoming feature.
From live animal power to mechanized speed under the hood, narrow walkways and dirt tracks to multi-lane pavements and overhead carriageways.
The technology of transportation in Jamaica has come a long way.
Planes, trains, and automobiles on the Jamaican landscape have evolved over the decades and centuries. Go back in time, say the late 18th, entire 19th, and even the early 20th century, and you're likely to find these. A mode of transportation that involved harnessing the power of animals. The not-so-simple carriages of yesteryear are the precursors to the pavement-eating machines that now use motors designed to convert energy into useful mechanical motion. By the latter part of the 1800s, trams, horseless, metal, steam-powered carriages running on tracks were a feature of Jamaican roadways. They were preceded by the railroad, Jamaica being one of the first in the Americas. And by the mid-1900s had entirely moved aside to make room for the cars and buses that run independently on the paved streets that have been laid over former gravel and dirt tracks. After making landfall, the airways and sea lanes weren't far behind for motor technology. It's believed that the Jamaican skies saw its first plane in December 1911, when an American aviator, Jesse Seligman, took flight at the Knutsford Park Racecourse in what is now New Kingston. The national carrier Air Jamaica, now Caribbean Airlines, had its first departure flight to Miami on May 1, 1966. Commercial and domestic aviation is now a fully established mode of transportation for people and goods in Jamaica. The 1800s brought steamships, and steam vessels quickly made their way to Jamaican waterways, eventually making room for the motorized speedboats, heavy cargo ships, and cruise liners that we now find berthed at Jamaican docks. And after a long run, broken by about 2 decades of inactivity, passenger train service in Jamaica resumed in early 2011, at least on a trial basis.
The system of communication has had its own technological revolution, and Jamaica has steadily remained in the know. Did you know that Jamaica received telephone service just 2 years after the invention of the device?
In 1939, all major towns were connected through the all-island trunk telephone service, and April 1 was the day registered in history when the first connection was opened to the public, allowing persons to bypass the operator and dial direct. A few years earlier, 1936, brought the inauguration of a radio telephone service, allowing some people to speak directly with others in North America, England, Mexico, and Cuba. Then, the late 1900s and early 21st century witnessed an explosion of information technology in Jamaica. And going back, the earlier telephone technology had actually spawned its own offshoot in the telegram, a device somewhere between the paper mail and the type most common today.
radio and television media in Jamaica have also come a far way. Telefunken radio had been around for quite some time, allowing Jamaicans to pick up foreign radio stations. But it was not until July 9 of 1950 that commercial broadcasting actually started in Jamaica.
That 1950s development brought us the Jamaica Broadcasting Company, later known as Radio Jamaica Limited, RJR. A cable radio service preceded it. Now, this came with a receiver box that would allow you to pick up the signal and then you could listen.
The occasion on which I address you is somewhat historic because this is the first time that the head of the government of the island has been able to address the people of Jamaica through the medium of a Jamaican broadcasting station.
The birth of Jamaica's first television station, the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation JBC 1963, was certainly a big deal. Through the decades, the spectrum has blossomed and satellites, cable and TV phones have made Jamaica a fully audio-visual nation.
PBCJ Symposium 2016. Public Broadcasting, Agenda for the Future.
Come and join PBC Jamaica as it hosts its first symposium at the Jamaica Conference Center, October 18 to 20, 2016.
Grab your chance to interact with internationally acclaimed and local media practitioners, students, communication consultants, policymakers, and regulators.
Let your voice be heard in discussions about the role of public broadcasting in education and social issues.
Learn about innovative digital technology and public broadcasting systems from the major players in the field, based locally and abroad.
It's PBCJ Symposium 2016. Public Broadcasting, Agenda for the Future.
For registration and additional information, go to symposium.pbcjamaica.org.
All the people them with a Zig V, hold up your hand. Zig V in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send us stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. More hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No litter, dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing that we turn drain blacker. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we all tire turn over drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies. Protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If we do all that we can to keep them away. For we know wars in vain.
October 8 is the start of Heritage Week, and we invite you to take some time to visit the different cultural sites to learn more about our rich heritage. In the meantime, stay connected with us. Check out our website, jis.gov.jm. There's also our Twitter and Facebook pages. Join us again tomorrow for another informative program. I'm Adrian Atkinson on behalf of the entire production crew saying, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.